Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to Gwen Jikoni. In today's recipe, I'm showing you guys how to make this delicious and tender masala pork, or rather wet fry pork. Very easy to make and it's so delicious. But before we begin, if you're new here, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started. Pour some cooking oil on a hot pan and let it get hot. Then put your pork on the hot oil and let it sear till golden brown on all sides. Give it about 6 minutes on each side before stirring. Another tip for perfect searing is having a wide pan and not overcrowding the pork, because it could begin steaming instead of searing. Also do this process on high heat for great results. As the pork is cooking, allow me to plug you in with my 2 recipe books. One is a breakfast recipe book with mostly gluten-free recipes, while the other one is a dinner/lunch recipe book, each with a meal plan. Details on how to get either or both is on the description box below. Be sure to check it out. Once the pork is nice and golden brown, add in your onions and stir. The more the onions you have, the better this dish will turn out to be. So feel free to explore and use as much as you can. Next up, you add the garlic and ginger at the same time. I added only garlic because that's what I had on hand. In case you'd want to know how to batch prep garlic, I have a blog post on the website as well as a video on how I did it on my Instagram. Be sure to follow me on Instagram to also check it out and see. Once it had thawed, I stirred it in to allow it to mix with the meat and get in that flavor soaking up on the meat. In case you do not have fresh garlic and fresh ginger, you can use the powders as well, but you're going to mix them in as you're adding in your other spices. At this point, I added in the spices, which you can skip if you don't want the masala taste in your pork, then just make it wet fry. Stir in the spices and allow them to cook for about a minute for the pork to absorb the flavor. Reduce your heat to medium-low, then cover the pot and allow those spices to mix in well. Once mixed in, you stir again. Then at this point, you add in the tomato paste and allow it also to cook for about 1 or 2 minutes. Stir it well for it to mix with the meat as well. Then you cover your pot for it to cook still on medium to low heat. Adding the tomato paste helps the dish have a deeper flavor of tomatoes, even though we are going to add some tomatoes at some point. After a while, you uncover the pot and stir again to make sure nothing is sticking on the bottom of the pan. Then at this point, I add my pureed tomatoes. You can add diced tomatoes as well, but I find pureed tomatoes resulting into a greater and a saucy dish. Stir well to combine, then you'll still cover the pot to allow the cooking process to continue for about 5 minutes. You can already see how that pork already looks. It is very promising that it's gonna be delicious for sure. Oh, and before I forget, always remember to season in each and every step that you go by to make sure the flavor is being sipped into the meat nicely. So putting in your salt and black pepper is essential as you go by, and tasting as you go by, so that you are sure of the flavor of that dish. So next up, I added in the bay leaves and a cup of water. You can replace the water with beef stock if that's what you have on hand, or even chicken stock or vegetable stock. Then I stirred everything well to combine and covered the pot for it to cook for a little longer, and also for the liquid to reduce so as to have a saucy dish. After a few minutes, this is what I had on hand, and on tasting it with a spoon, I was like, it was flavorful and it is what I wanted, and the meat was tender and well cooked and ready to be served. So after that, you just remove the bay leaves. You garnish with whatever you have on hand. You can use cilantro or chives or even parsley. I did it with chives because that's what I had on hand. Look at that, look at that. Isn't it looking lovely and wonderful for it to be served with any side? It definitely was. So after this, I served mine with some ugali and managu. You can serve with either rice as well, or even mashed potatoes, or whatever you want to serve it with. The choice is all yours. Remember, a detailed recipe is up on the blog for you to check out. So good. This is it for now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful, and also subscribe. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.